So this is a 4-drawer dresser I found on Facebook Marketplace for just $15. The legs were gone and it had the usual problems, scratches, gouges, some chipped away veneer, but the drawers were all in good shape and it was surprisingly clean. It is mid-century modern, which I love, but it definitely needs a refresh. So let's get started. When I originally saw this stencil on the back, my first thought was Montgomery Ward, but that's not the case. Turns out this piece was manufactured by Ward Furniture Company, which was established in Durham, North Carolina in 1948 and is still in business today. Ward made lower and mid-quality furniture, and these pieces were mass-produced at a very reasonable price. So this is not a rare piece, but I really like it. I like how the drawers don't need hardware. They have grooves at the bottom of each drawer that you can use to pull them open. I always start with cleaning, of course. First, I pull out all the drawers, and then I give it a good vacuum, followed by scrubbing it down with my Rust-Oleum spray degreaser and some warm soapy water, which I rinse off thoroughly after cleaning. I don't want any soap residue to interfere with my paint, and yes, I will paint some of this. The top and the sides are not real wood veneer. It turns out it's laminate with a faux wood grain printed on it. However, the drawer fronts are solid wood. They're pretty scratched up, but I plan to sand them down and hopefully restain them. I break out my detail sander and some 120 grit sandpaper. I don't have to worry about blowing through a veneer since the tops are solid wood, but there are still a few really deep scratches. So for those, I just used a color-matched wood putty to fill those in. Now this is all raw footage that I've had sitting on my cell phone for several years, waiting to pull it into a video, but in editing this footage, I found this kind of funny thing that happened that I noticed. So I pull the body of the dresser over to do some work on it, and I sit down and I contemplate it. I know I'm thinking, so how am I going to get this big dresser up on this work table? So I look it up and down, kind of walk back and forth, and then I make kind of a half-hearted attempt. I think, try and pick it up. And it's too heavy for me to lift that high. So I put my hands on the dresser, kind of drum my fingers and think. And I know what I'm thinking. And then I walk off and just guess where I'm going, what I'm headed for. And here I come back again, bringing in the big guns. So I went and found my husband and had him pick this dresser up and put it on the table for me.
I mean, it's not heavy.
There he goes. And he does it all by himself, of course.
Yep.
Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled program. The body of the piece had a large chip in one corner. I filled that in with some JB Weld Quickwood. I cut off a slice and mix it together. It's a 2-part epoxy stick and it dries super hard. I just cut off however much I needed and I pressed it into the spot where the laminate was missing, and I left it to dry. it also had a spot where apparently there was a knot in the wood and the knot fell out, so there was a hole left there. So I mixed up some Bondo, another 2-part epoxy, and filled that hole up. I have the body all ready for primer. I sanded down all the filled in repairs and then scuff sanded all that slick laminate. The repairs sanded down really smooth, so they won't even show once the piece is painted. I want a very smooth finish for this, so to avoid any brush strokes or roller texture, I decided to spray my primer. I'm still planning to stain the drawers, which means I can't spray it with the drawers in, so I tape off the inside with pre-taped painter's plastic to prevent any overspray from getting inside the dresser. I always hate to see overspray on drawer glides or all over the inside of a piece. It just looks messy and haphazard to me. It doesn't take that much time, and I think it's worth it.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
No, this video is not being sponsored by Kilz. I just have a confession to make. Typical of my status as a video creating newbie, I set up my phone to record, but didn't hit start properly to record the primer going on. This actually happens to me pretty frequently because I'm always wearing rubber gloves when I'm working, and while I think I've hit the button sufficiently to start it recording, I actually do not. But I did put on just one coat of Kilz Restoration Primer. The color I've chosen for the piece is Fusion Mineral Paints Homestead Blue. Since I sprayed my primer on, I have a nice smooth foundation for my paint. This is the first time I've ever used Fusion, and it did not disappoint. Fusion is an all-in-one paint. I chose to prime, but it's not necessary in most cases. I especially liked that this paint has a built-in top coat of acrylic resin, so it will be super durable. It's very pigmented, pretty much full coverage with one coat, but I did two, sanding lightly in between. After sanding, I dusted it off with a damp microfiber cloth before applying the second coat. I let this dry overnight. The next day, I did any needed touch-ups and decided to put on a third coat of paint on the top since I wasn't putting on a top coat. Since the legs were missing, I purchased new ones off Amazon for around $20. These legs are mid-century in design and will look appropriate with the piece. I used Minwax stain in the color Gunstock, which is a definite red hue and matches perfectly with the drawers. Because the drawers don't have hardware, they just seem to be lacking something. And I had seen a dresser on Pinterest decorated with mandalas and really liked how that looked. So I printed out 2 large mandalas on stencil vinyl using my Cricut Maker. After deciding on placement where I wanted to put the mandalas, I applied the stencils using transfer tape and brayered them down firmly. I used my Homestead Blue paint color and a foam stencil pouncer to apply it. After this, I removed the stencils with the paint still wet to avoid any paint peeling off with the stencil. I let all this dry overnight and then applied 2 coats of Minwax water-based poly in a satin sheen. So it ended up, when I wiped the drawers off after sanding, they looked really good. I wiped them down with mineral spirits just to see what they would look like with just a coat of polyurethane instead of stain. And they looked really red, but it just popped against the blue paint color. I'm wondering if maybe the drawer fronts are teak, which would explain how red they were. So I didn't stain them at all, just the poly. The legs, of course, were not teak, but the stain was a really good match. I'm really pleased with how this piece turned out, and this dresser ended up selling for $250. I hope the person who bought it enjoys it for many years and that it is a beautiful addition to their home.